Long ago, in a living room very much like yours, two women made up a podcast on how movies link up to each other, and they called it 6 Degrees of Feature Film.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6 Degrees of Feature Film podcast. I am Brienne, also known as Miss Movies.
And I'm Stacey Howard.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I don't know why I sang, but I felt like it.
You know, every so often you gotta sing, right?
Yeah.
I've been listening back to our episodes, and I've noticed that I sound super nasal, and I don't know why. And I apologize, everyone.
That's okay. I sound like Mickey Mouse on sound when I listen back to myself, so...
I don't hear that.
Hey, you guys! Welcome to 6 Degrees of Feature Film Podcast!
Oh, boy!
Oh, gee, willikers! Whatever it is. Maybe not quite as bad as that, but still.
So today we're doing a no prep podcast.
Yeah.
Basically, this is like total fake facts. All fake facts, all the fake times.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a lot of fun. Anyways, what we're going to do today is we're going to start with 10 Cloverfield Lane because we both saw this film and it just came out.
Yes.
Starring John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Let's go with Winstead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then some other guy. I don't know who it is.
Some other guy? I don't know. I recognize him though, but without the beard. I know.
Oh, okay. He had
without
a beard?
the beard, I recognize him.
Okay.
So I don't know who he is or what else he's been in, but he was great in the film.
He was.
Okay, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead was in this other movie about like a cult, kind of, and I'm trying to think.
All I can think of is Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim I never saw.
Oh, okay. She's in that.
I've seen her in like most of the stuff she's done. She's always great. But there's this other movie that I don't want to look it up now. But it's she is like playing a victim of a cult. Basically, her parents hired this guy to brainwash her, like unbrainwash her, and they spend like a weekend in a hotel room, and it's really freaky. And she's so good in it. It's like and there's like a shocking ending, like it's incredible, and she's really good. So IMDb, look up her thing. I totally forgot what it's called.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We can maybe look it up later.
We'll look it up later.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the podcast.
Exactly.
This is another movie that I went to the theater by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't as scared as going by myself to The Witch. There were definitely more people. It was actually pretty full for a Friday, and it was the opening weekend of Friday at like 10 a.m. or something like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I actually didn't really know like that the third act would be what it was. Mm-hmm. But I appreciated what happened there. Although I kind of wished it was different. I wished that the outcome was different. Mm-hmm. But I appreciated what the outcome was.
I loved this movie up until the last 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then I hated the last 15 minutes. Are we going to talk spoilers?
I guess we can. Well, I mean, okay. Yes, we're going to talk spoilers. Okay. So here it comes, guys.
Okay, so go see the movie, come back. Spoilers in 3,
You probably want to go ahead about 5 minutes is what I would guess. Maybe about 5 minutes. And then we'll be done.
Okay, so she gets out of the bunker thing, and then that's the story. The story was what happens to these people in this bunker. And that was incredible. And everything that was going on was great. And then she gets out, and it's this stupid CGI monster fight thing, and she's making like a fire cocktail as she's being lifted in a truck and like throwing it, like, fuck off. What? She couldn't do that. No. And she like, and the truck then crashes. She didn't break any bones. It's like flat on the wheels. Like, how did it crash on its front? Yeah. How did she survive?
It's just magical.
No.
So I was kind of hoping that he was crazy. Like, but at the same time, the problem I have is that it's called 10 Cloverfield Lane, and you're trying to be like, this is Cloverfield adjacent. Well, I've seen Cloverfield. I know that there are real things happening. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't really a question of if he's necessarily... I mean, I was questioning, is he just crazy? Maybe it's all not really there. But I wasn't surprised that he wasn't crazy, that it was all happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing, because I didn't see Cloverfield, but I knew it's about, like, monsters attack or whatever. So I'm like, okay, then there's no stakes, there's no suspense. Like, right. I know it's a attack. I know he's clearly like an extremist,
Right.
you know, but it's like, I know it's a real thing. So it's all kind of bullshit. But if I hadn't known that, I would have been like freaking out the whole time. But it didn't take away from the fact that the movie was great up until the last 15 minutes, which ruined it for me. But it's their moments together and this like, you know, what are we doing? And then she discovers that like, yeah, it is kind of real. There's like a woman out there. But then I was like, did he like pay that woman?
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. And I was
like,
kind of hoping that that was what it was. Like that he was just, especially when you have that part where you see that his daughter wasn't really his daughter, or, you know, he was holding her captive.
Where did that girl go? Did he melt
what's
her?
That story?
I don't know.
Because she's got that bloody earring, like,
yeah,
and it kind of seemed kind of fresh blood in a way. Like it was still kind of reddish.
Yeah. So like, where did that girl go?
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know. And then
so that's kind of weird and confusing, and it's like that would put me more to the he's insane than to the there's an actual attack. But again, if they hadn't called it Cloverfield Lane,
no one would.
It would. Maybe you're right. Maybe no one would have seen it, but I guess it just depends. I guess we'll never know. Unfortunately,
never know. There's this new movie coming out that kind of reminds me of this movie a little bit. It's with Patrick Stewart. And he like keeps a band captive. Have you seen the trailer for this?
I have not.
Okay, shit. I don't know the name of it. But
I don't know the name of it.
I don't know what the what's his butt. That's this podcast title. And it's with Anton Yelkin, and they're like play a band, and they're at some venue or something, and then the owner of the venue, who's like an extreme conservative something, like shit goes down, and it's Patrick Stewart, and it's like a horror, or it's like a thriller, but he's like the bad guy in it. So I'm like really excited to see this. Interesting. But I forgot the name of the film that I'm so excited to see.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to look that one up. Okay. At the end of this podcast, we're gonna have that one and the Mary Elizabeth Winstead one as well.
Okay.
So we'll get back to you guys on that for sure. Okay.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and go into our link off of 10 Cloverfield Lane, and we're gonna go with movies that have kidnappings in them.
Yes.
Stacey's gonna get us started.
Okay, so I am gonna go with Fargo.
Nice.
Because they kidnap the wife, and one of the most hilarious and freaky kidnapping scenes ever, because she's sitting there knitting and watching her little daytime cooking show or whatever, and it's very Minnesota-ish, and they just walk up and they like kind of glance in, they like do the fog, and they're like, and you're like, wow! It's so, like, I was laughing but like also scared during it. That's what Fargo does for me, is that you laugh, but it's seriously
it's
dark
a dark
shit.
Comedy.
Yeah,
yes,
it's an absolute dark comedy.
This is a movie that my parents did not like, and they were like, I don't understand why it's getting all this Oscar recognition. I'm like, Mom, Dad, calm down. Like, I was like, you guys also don't like the Royal Tenenbaums, and I do. Obviously, I'm the one that actually has movie sensibility in our family, and the two of you are ridiculous. But
I have class and you don't.
That's right. Because they are not fans of dark comedy, and I totally am.
Oh, yes.
And I wonder if like that's like a switch that goes off at some point, like when I get into my 60s. Like, is that when it's like, nope, no more dark comedies?
I don't understand these kids and their dark comedy movies. What's Heather's about?
But I have not seen Fargo, and I have not watched the show.
Oh,
I haven't seen it in a long time. Steve Buscemi, right?
Steve Buscemi, and then the guy that's like Russian.
And everything.
Or I don't know if he's actually from Russia, but he played the Russian in Armageddon. And
was he the Jesus in? Oh wait, no, not the Jesus.
He was Satan in Constantine, which that's one of the best Satans I've seen in a movie. And also William H. Macy and
Frances McDormand.
Frances McDormand, yes, who is married to one of the Coen brothers, and she's in a lot of their projects.
I did appreciate. Anytime I see like a 2-cent stamp, I always think of Fargo, or like 1-cent stamp. Any of those little ones.
When they run out of the big ones, they gotta use the little ones to make it out. Oh, she's so supportive of his duck art, his duck stamp art.
I also love how their son has like a poster of some sort of like accordion player in his bedroom.
I missed that.
Yes, that is awesome. Has like lederhosen on. Oh man, you gotta go back and at least see that picture.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch. Also, I don't know if you ever watched the show Reba.
No,
Growing
I
up with
didn't.
Reba
But I knew what it
McEntire?
was.
Yeah. Reba and it's like her neighbor that eventually marries her ex-husband that she's in her life. She's super annoying. She plays one of the like hookers or whatever in this movie and then you know how Frances McDormand is talking to them in the bar. She's like, so where'd your girls grow up? And they're like, Chasker, LeSueur, but I went to high school in Whiteberry Lake. Go Bears. And that's her from Reba. And I'm like, oh my God. And she has a little cameo and I think it's so cute.
Nice.
Yeah, I always remember their lines. I don't know why. So, you were having sex with a little fella then? Uh-huh. Only he was kind of funny looking. In what way? I don't know. He wasn't circumcised. Like, I can quote the whole
I knew
thing.
that you would go into the accent, so that's good.
I can do it better than my Rocky.
My favorite is that your buddy in the wood chipper over there? Like, or something like that. Something similar to that. That's not the quote, but...
Exactly. And William H. Macy always talks about how he had this little boy who like a 10-year-old had seen Fargo. Way too young to see it, right? And
yes.
I saw Fargo when I was like 10 years old, so it's
Probably.
my parents didn't care. They're like, all right, watch it if you want. But this little boy came up to William H. Macy and was like, I love when you say, I'm cooperating here. Can you just say that for me? Like this little 10-year-old was like begging him to be like, just say the line. And so he's like, I'm cooperating here or whatever. There's all kinds of little moments that I love that are so funny and really dark, and like I didn't understand them, and I still don't get them, but I just love them. Fargo.
There it is, Fargo.
That's
By
Fargo.
Kidnapping Movie. What did I put down?
You put down.
I put down. Oh, Funny Games. Oh,
Yeah.
good Lord. Okay. First of all, I've seen both Funny Games because there's a foreign version and then the like American remake version of Funny Games. So I'm talking about the one with Naomi Watts and Michael Pitt. Okay, first of all, the remake itself is done by the same director. It is a shot-for-shot remake, and which I don't get. Same director. I'm just doing it again, but I'm having American actors in this, so that way I don't really understand what the point is. But I was obsessed with this film before it came out because I was like, what is going on? What's happening? Why would someone do this? I get very concerned about things that could happen in real life. And this is a horror movie that could happen in real life.
It has happened. This has absolutely happened to people.
I'm sure. The one thing about this film is you kind of are introduced to the characters before they come to the family. Like you see them with some other people. And so then later you realize they were doing the same thing to that family that they're doing to this family, playing these sadistic games and you're gonna have to shoot this person or you're gonna have to kill this person if you otherwise this is gonna happen to you or to someone else or something like that. So you have the choices, kind of like a more realistic Saw, if you will. Yeah. And then just when you think like the problem with this film is there's no hope. There's absolutely no hope for these characters. And that is where it gets so sad for me. I'm like, that's just too close to real life because there isn't always hope in real life of getting out of a situation alive. And even if you do get out alive, there's no hope that you're going to recover from that emotionally.
Right. They're not going to recover from everything that happened.
Right.
I'm trying to think of are we going to spoil Funny Games too? Wait, let's
I mean,
not.
I kind of have, but vaguely. What I thought was kind of weird about the film, I don't know what that sound is that I just made, but it was like there is a section where like something goes wrong, something goes out of control of the villains. Yeah. And the people that you're rooting for have the upper hand for a second. But then the filmmaker decides, let's rewind that. You know, let's break the fourth wall. And we're going to rewind that. And we're going to replay it so that the villains have the upper hand this time. And I didn't quite understand what the point of that was.
I'm not sure either. And someone asked Michael Pitt about that, actually. They asked him, like, why do you break the fourth wall? Why is there the rewind scene? Like, what is that? And he was like, you'll have to ask the director about that.
Because it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. I mean, breaking the fourth wall is one thing, but to have that reversal just... I didn't get it.
It takes it out of reality,
to.
and it was really grounded in reality for a while. And then it takes you out of it. She's like, no, it's a movie. We can rewind it. So
the other part that took me out of reality is how long are these people up for? Because if they were with that one family at the beginning, obviously they completed their task and now they're moving on to another family.
Yeah, they would have been up all night.
They would have been like a little crazy. Like, and then how does that work? And then you see like the other cyclical nature of now we're going on to the next family or things like that. And it's just like, hold on a second. Like, and also you gotta sleep. I know that they're gone for a little bit, but that's not enough to sleep. Yeah. And come back.
And like eat and stuff and shower. And they were well shaved and showered. They looked clean.
They did.
You know, so I don't know what. I don't know.
And all white.
Movie match, all white. Pristine, clean,
which
white.
makes no sense.
Golfing clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. They had to have changed.
Because the other guy in this is Brady Corbett, who's one of my favorite indie actors. He's fantastic. And watch Simon Killer. Watch Sleepwalk or The Sleepwalker or something like that. He's just incredible in everything he does. And then Tim Roth. Too is the dad.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
So they have incredible chemistry. All of them do because it's all these adults. And I remember the kids being there, but then
there's one kid. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one kid. But I just remember it's intense as fuck. This movie.
Yeah, like, they had some viral campaign where it was like you could insert your name into this thing where it would like show the actors like bagging you up and beating you up and like people would think it was real, like what is going on, I have to go save my friend or whatever. It was some weird crazy viral campaign. I don't think it did very well, so I think because people were so freaked out and like probably called the police, like but they were like maybe we need to shut this down, but that happened for a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna have to research that. Interesting.
Very strange. Anyways, Funny Games. I don't think I'd recommend it, but
I would. I love this movie. I think it's good.
I can't, like I said, those are the scariest films to me, are the ones that are true. Like not true, but like could happen. That very much could happen easily.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
absolutely.
There it is, Funny Games. Now Stacy's gonna take Funny Games and she's gonna link off to something.
Yes.
And I don't know what it is.
Can you hand me my little
I
thing?
can.
I made it. Which, I mean, I feel like you could have glanced at it.
Oh.
I wrote it down.
All right.
But you didn't. You didn't cheat. You're good. Okay, so off of Funny Games, I'm doing Michael Pitt movies.
Yeah.
Because I love Michael Pitt.
Okay, Michael
If you guys
Pitt.
haven't seen Boardwalk Empire, he's incredible in it. And he left after, like, the second season over creative differences, I guess. But he is an incredible actor. And he's just a beautiful man. Like, he's kind of
he's
funny
like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Esque.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he makes very interesting choices. Very interesting choices with his films. So the first one I want to talk about is Murder by Numbers.
Yes, I've seen it.
With Sandy Bulls and Ryan Gosling. And this is when Ryan Gosling and Sandra Bullock dated.
I know.
After this movie.
Crazy.
Yeah.
For a few years, too.
For like 2 years, I feel like.
This was the first movie I went to with my husband.
Really?
Yes.
2003 it came out, I think?
Something
like that.
Probably, yeah. 2002.
2003. And it's basically two high school kids decide that they are going to kidnap and murder someone and see if they can get away with it. Because one of them is extremely smart and one of them is extremely popular, and they wouldn't be friends in real life, but they're both kind of sociopaths and have decided to do this experiment to see what would happen if they could get away with it. One wants to prove how smart he is, and the other wants to prove how like invincible he is, I guess. And how he like can't be touched.
Right, because Michael Pitt is the smart one.
Michael Pitt's a smart one,
and Ryan Gosling's the
cool guy.
I can get away with it.
Yeah, I can get away with the guy. He just wants to like prove his power.
One thing I thought was really weird about this film is like the boys have this like portrait that's like a mixture of their two faces, and I was just like, I'm not understanding what the point of that is.
I think that Michael Pitt did that. He was working on that on his computer, and he was basically like, he's basically in love with Ryan Gosling, but like not in a homosexual way, he wants to like become him and absorb his power kind of way. And he's not the most popular guy, you know, he's the weird guy in school, so he doesn't know how to do that. So his love for Ryan Gosling, his obsession with him is like he wants to become him, basically, to where he can almost get rid of Ryan Gosling and he can be both smart and
it's like
popular.
single white female.
Yeah. He wants to become Ryan Gosling. And Sandra Bullock plays the detective that's investigating this and suspects them the whole time. She's incredibly smart. It has some like shocking twists and turns, and it's just really
I can't remember her male counterpart, but I remember thinking that person did a good job.
I can
Anyways.
picture his face. He has dark hair.
I was going to say Benjamin Bratt, but that's not him because that's
looks like him, though.
miscongeniality. But
He looks like him.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail.
Oh, no. This is what we do all the time. We
I
always
know.
talk about 1,000 movies.
You know what? I remember enjoying the film, but I didn't think it was anything like special.
Oh, I thought it was pretty special when I watched it.
I kind of, I do sometimes think about it like at random times when I'm at the supermarket because that's how they picked their like mark. Was like she was coming out of the supermarket and it was just like, how about her? Okay. And I'm just, sometimes I think like, what if it's me?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm like, what if I'm the one?
I liked trying to figure out like what they did, how they did it, and like, you know, she like, you know that they did it, but then Sandra Bullock is trying to figure out how, and so she like does the thing with the clock, she tests it, and like all this stuff. So I'm like, I wonder if this is real, like police work, you know, like I'm just like thinking the whole time about detective work.
And how they try to pin it on someone else. That's pretty smart too.
Yeah.
They leave the trace evidence.
With the baboon hair. That's right. It's the janitor or whatever. They're trying to like frame him. Which I was like, that's a little too convenient. Like he had baboon hair and carpet hair. And like it's just planted on the girl. So then they go to his house. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a little too convenient. Like if I was Sandra Bullock and she was like, this is too like
too fishy.
This is too perfect. Like it fits too well. You know? So I don't know. My other one is The Dreamers. This is with Michael Pitt and Ava Green, and then some French guy, and it's like an American tourist is in Paris in the 60s, I think, and they're a set of twins. Ava Green and her brother are twins, and they're like far too close for twins. They got a little
little
they got a Lannister Game of Thrones thing going on, but not in the beginning. But she says this really interesting line where Michael Pitt is basically like, listen, I saw you guys in bed and you were like caressing each other. This is weird. Are you guys like sleeping together? And she's like, no, it will never happen. It can never happen. But he is my twin. He's always inside of me, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh God. You know what I mean? Like it's really creepy, but it's also wonderful. And she's so beautiful in the movie. Everyone's beautiful, and it's like just a very French, weird, foreign film. But it's not real. It's a French director, and so he's famous for like having like a lot of sex in his movies and naked people and all kinds of like, you know, weird sexual things going on. But not in a American way where it's like they want it to be sexual. It's in like a European way where it's like kind of awkward sexual and like gross. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's like a difference between American like sex in American films and sex in European films. Sex in American films is meant to look perfect, and every aspect of it is incredible. But then in European films, it's much more realistic, and so they're nude, but it's not necessarily a sexual thing. And then
you mean their bodies aren't perfect? They're perfectly sculpted.
No, it's like the lighting isn't perfect, and I think she she loses her virginity to him, and then she takes her blood and like wipes it on his face. Like it's weird stuff. It's like
this
really
is
weird.
Crazy.
Yeah. And they all have a threesome in a tent, and it's like very strange. That's The Dreamers. Yeah, it's like a French director.
Great.
And they speak English, but they also speak French in it, and Michael Pitt's in it, and Ava Green. You know who Ava Green is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
I think so.
From she's been in 300 Rise of an Empire,
she was a Bond girl, right?
She was a Bond girl. Yeah. She was what's his face? In the first one.
Yeah, the first Daniel Craig.
Casino Royale. Yeah, in the first Daniel Craig one. Vespa, whatever.
So I'm going off of Fargo. I chose movies with salesmen.
Okay.
Movies with a salesman in it. And I'm going to start with Glengarry, Glen Ross. Have you seen Glengarry, Glen Ross?
I haven't, but it's Alec Baldwin, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He is in that. Let's see, Jack Lemmon. I want to say Al Pacino. And I'm sure, Kevin Spacey. Like, there's quite a few names in this movie, and I'm sure I'm missing some. But it pretty much takes place in one central location. These are real estate, people. They're trying to basically sell their product. Mm-hmm. I think they're real estate. Gosh, it's been so long. They're definitely like in the market of some sort. And Alec Baldwin has like his famous like
"fuck you,
monologue.
pay me" or whatever. Yeah.
And I just remember Jack Lemmon. Like, is so good in that movie. And I have no idea if he, was nominated for any Oscars or anything, but he was the one that carried the film, aside from, the big monologue that everyone talks about. I remember him being really good. This is a stage play, so it's one that I would love to see if it ever came out this way. I don't know how often it tours, but yeah, Glengarry, Glen Ross. There's really not much that I can tell you about it, aside from the fact that it's very limited storytelling in terms of, like, you're really only following one person and kind of noticing his demise as a salesperson and what he's going to do to try to keep his job or what he's not going to do to keep his job, and just the different sharks that are in the water that are trying to, take everyone else down.
So interesting. Okay. I have had it on my list for a long time and I just never got to watching it, but I think it's on Netflix. So.
It's just like that whole thing, like, this is for closers.
Yeah.
You can't have it. It's for closers.
Yeah.
Anyways, the other one that I wanted to talk about is Wolf of Wall Street, which I actually saw recently.
Oh.
So Stock Salesman. Other ones that I really liked, I liked Boiler Room, but I feel like I haven't seen Boiler Room in a long time, which is basically the Wolf of Wall Street as well. And there's something else that came out recently that I did not see that won some Oscars that's all about the housing and...
The Big Short?
Yeah, The Big Short.
Okay,
that's
I saw
another
that.
Wolf of Wall Street sort of situation. Anyways, I thought this movie was really over the top, but I'm sure, based on the information that I've read about the gentleman, the real life gentleman, I should say, that the story is about, it sounds like it was pretty true to his autobiography or I don't know if he wrote it or someone else wrote it, but it's pretty true to his stories. Although, even though he's telling these stories, doesn't mean there's necessarily truth to that, right?
Right. Like, there's some, like, the moment when they're on the ship, or the yacht is sinking, and then birds flew into the engine of the plane that came to save them, and he saw, I don't know about all that stuff.
Right.
But then again, it's like that world, my girlfriend, one of my girlfriends dated a stockbroker, and what she described to me, and how those men, how anybody involved in that world is so egocentric and so all about the sale and, like, money, like, they literally just, like, coming money every day. It's like, I would believe a lot of those stories, actually. Like,
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, everything in that movie was real. Like, absolutely everything.
It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine living that life and wanting to live that life. Why?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Like, money drives people crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Who was it? Jonah Hill?
Hill.
Oh my gosh, his character.
He is great.
He was very good.
He's really good in this movie.
But man, he's gross.
He's so gross. And that guy in real life, I think he actually did marry his cousin.
Oh,
yeah,
gross.
because someone was at a Jordan Belfort, whatever his name is, was at a party recently, because it's a real guy, and he really does tour and the guy that comes out at the end and introduces Leonardo DiCaprio's character, that's Jordan Belfort. That's him. That's the real guy. He still does that, and they also still go to parties. He's still friends with real life Jonah Hill, all that stuff.
He's not going to have to give back that money. He
no,
just never
no,
will.
no.
He never will.
He doesn't have to.
I hate how the world works sometimes.
He went to prison for like 2 years.
I know. It was like some nice, like, country club-esque prison.
Yeah.
Anyways, but he actually has a house, like, a few miles away from where we are right now. Yes.
No
I'm
way.
Not lying.
We're going to drive by that one day.
We could. It's on the
gosh.
strand of
That's so cool.
the beach.
Wow.
Of course it would be. He's probably gone by now, but anyways.
I'm glad this movie introduced the world to Margot Robbie, though. Because
Right.
I'd seen her in About Time, and I didn't really like her character in that, because you're not supposed to like her.
Right.
But I thought she was lovely. And now we see her in this. Now she's going to be in Suicide Squad. I still need to see Z for Zachariah. And I didn't see Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which I didn't really have an interest in seeing at all. She's in that, but I'm glad that she got this. Like, this is a big opportunity for her, for this young actress,
and to just be completely naked on screen. That's huge.
Yeah.
Like, and by huge, I mean, like, just to actually have the guts to do that.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
She's looking good.
Well, yes.
I don't know if she's...
But she's like in her 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm like, would I be naked on screen in my 20s? Probably not. No.
If I looked like her, I wouldn't be shy. I'd be like, yeah.
Let's do this.
Oh no, my top fell off. My perfect breath.
I mean, I guess it depends. Like, if you're in a movie that's like some B horror film that like you're, who knows who's going to see it or even if it's going to be released anywhere. Whereas you're starring opportunity to star opposite Leonardo DiCaprio.
See,
I mean, that's the different stakes there.
Okay, and that's what I've always kind of wanted to argue with people that are like there are actresses who are like, girls who feel the need to show their breast in film, that's degrading, that's horrible, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, Kate Winslet did it in The Reader. She's been naked in like 6 or 7 films, and she's won 2 Oscars. Like, what's the difference between being naked for a film that is a prestigious Academy Award-winning film and being naked for like a B horror film, you know?
Right.
Like, people look down on one and say it's trashy, but then they look up to another and say that's art, let's give her awards. So what is the difference?
I don't know. I know that some movies, movie making a little bit, I know that some movies won't get money unless they show boobs. And that's why a lot of those B horror movies do it, because they want the money. Whereas the other movies that we're talking about, the art so-called movies, don't technically need that.
Right.
To get money.
I guess it's not, I'm not really asking the difference between the filmmaking standpoint. I mean, like, there are people that are critical of actresses who appear nude. And, like, Jessica Alba was like, I'll never appear nude, that's demeaning or whatever. And I'm like, but, like, so many incredible women have done it. Like, Oscar-winning actresses have done it.
I tried out for Equus in college, and fully knowing that you would have to be naked on stage.
Did you have to try out naked?
No.
No?
That'd be terrible.
I don't know.
But I didn't get that part, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I probably would have really been horrified to get it and have to do that. But that play, it makes a lot of sense for it, and I understand why they have it in there. I know Daniel Radcliffe was in Equus, and he was also naked, because, there's a naked scene. I remember saying to the director was like, how comfortable are you with this possibility? And I was like, listen, I was like, I could probably be okay with it, depending on like how comfortable the direction is and things like that. I was like, showing boobs, not so much worried about that. Everything else, maybe, I'm not sure. I was like, but I don't know unless I'm in the situation. So he's like, we just want to make sure we don't have anyone that's like going to drop out if they don't feel they can do it.
I don't know if I would be comfortable with that. Honestly, no. I would be fine. I'm more self-conscious about, I'm just really small-chested, so I'm like, there's not a lot going on to show, so I don't think anyone wants to see that.
But that's not how they cast.
I know that, but I'm just
movies,
saying,
maybe.
Like, I wouldn't be self-conscious, like, oh no, I'm naked. I'm like, oh, my boobs are so small, I'm like, I'm embarrassed. It wouldn't be a, oh no, well, I'm nude, this is a morality thing, and be, I wish I had bigger boobs thing.
Yeah. Well, plus, even at the time that I was in college, we didn't have Facebook, and we didn't have all this social media on our phone. We didn't have phones that could do everything that they can do. So there wasn't a lot of worry of, like, having pictures of yourself in this, show winding up on the internet from some other source, that's not related to the show. So there's that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Well, we've
Good
touched
times.
on nudity and kidnapping.
That's right.
What else did we talk about?
Salesman. Michael
Fuck
Pitt.
you, pay me, Michael Pitt. And his weird merged painting with Ryan Gosling.
That's right.
They are both gorgeous men.
They are. But that painting was so strange.
I know, it was creepy. It was really creepy.
We're going to take a moment so that way we can do our movie link tweets, because we did this episode rather quickly.
Yes.
So we're going to take just a second. Okay, so I tweeted out for movie link tweets. I said, what's your favorite movie with a kidnapping in it? And here's what I got back. Kenneth T says Silence of the Lambs. Matthew Johnston says Fargo, also Man on Fire. James Hauser says Ransom. Bruised by Dawn says The Godfather. There is a kidnapping scene in there. Brad Rife says Alpha Dog. Nick James, Prisoners. Oh, and Matthew Johnston came back and said, how did I forget The King of Comedy? Brian Hurst says Taken, as well as Travis of Marvel. And Travis of Marvel also comes back to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Whoa, there's a kidnapping in that one?
Apparently Shredder and the Foot kidnapped Splinter.
Whoa.
So there you go.
Okay.
And unknown Chico IT guy says Taken. So there you go.
Okay, good
And
choices.
we also link it to Kevin Bacon. And it's a short link on this one.
Okay. So John Goodman was in Beyond All Boundaries with Kevin Bacon.
And John Goodman was in...
And John Goodman was in 10
Cloverfield
Cloverfield Lane.
Lane.
Sorry, guys.
So there we
Okay.
have that.
Mm-hmm.
Did we want to do a Rocky scene?
I don't know if we can do that.
Okay.
Oh, I do have some. Okay, so I did look up. Okay, the movie with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she was like in a cult, and her parents hired this guy to try and unbrainwash her by trapping her in a hotel room for the weekend, is called Faults.
Okay.
So it's really good. Watch that. And then the movie that Patrick Stewart is in that's coming up, where he plays. I guess he owns a venue that a band is playing in. And Anton Yelkin's in it, is called Green Room. So that's coming up, and I heard it's incredible.
Nice.
So those are the movies that I could not think of the names for.
Nice.
Now know it.
There it is, guys.
There it is.
Thanks for joining us on this No Prep podcast.
Yay!
This one that we just kind of threw together last minute.
Hashtag fake facts.
All day, every day, fake
Every
facts.
day. What? So exciting. Okay, cool.
So, where can we find you, Stacey?
You can find me on Twitter at SOHoward2012. Just live tweeting movies all the time, especially Mighty Ducks.
Nice.
That's what I do. Random, but it's what I do. Where can we find you?
You can find me every goddamn day on Twitter at Miss Movies. Also look for me on First and Worst. That's probably coming out soon with Chris Stuckman, or may have already come out. I'm not sure. And I'm going to be at Comic-Con this year, so look for a Space Invaders dress. Might be me. Or Pac-Man.
Yay.
Or something else. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to wear.
How
Haven't
fun.
decided. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
6 Degrees of Feature Film is produced by Stacey Howard and me. Special thank you to Ken Knapsack for our intro and Matt Brown for our artwork.